Thanks for clicking on this video. Well, it's Friday, beginning of July 24, of course, and it's been a bit of a tough week. So I had yesterday in the office, this morning up until the afternoon in the office, and I just said, that's it, I've got to get out and clear my head. So I'm just sitting here at the turn off for the GR221 bound towards Palenza. It's 10 to 5 and it's a glorious day. It was about 32 degrees driving up in the car. Thankfully it's dropped down to about 28 now. So my idea tonight is to head up the 221 and take the variant up to Tossal's Verge that I have done a few times in the past. Tonight is going to be my lightest ever overnight Wildcamp. I've got the Atoms Packs Nanu with me here, which is a 22 litre pack, I believe. And my base weight tonight, without my water and bag of crisps and stuff that I've got in here, was 3.7 kilos. So that's shelter, mat, quilt, pillow, liner, and my electrical things like my pump and battery bank for the phone and stuff like that. So quite impressive. Not forgetting the sit pad as well, and a spare t-shirt for when I get to the top. So 3.7 base weight. It's my lightest base weight ever. So I think it's time now we get on the trail. Let's go. The route itself follows the aqueduct, which provides water from the Gorge Blau reservoir down to the Cuba reservoir, and as we can see at this time of year it's running, transferring the water. Last time I was up here this aqueduct wasn't running and it was bone dry, so it's nice to see a little bit of water running down there. It's strange, but when you look up here from the lowlands of Mallorca, it looks very rocky, but when you get up here it is very green. That's the Pajak, the highest mountain up there with the military station on the top. And that's another view looking up towards the Pajak there, just as I've come out of the forest. Around here in a second, we'll have the Gorge Blau. And there it is, beautiful and turquoise. I can't remember the last time I've seen it that colour. Look at that. Water level's a little bit down. Obviously we're only just in the beginning of July right now, so it doesn't look too bad, to be honest. I've seen it worse. I'm actually testing some new kit tonight. One thing I've tested before, which I'm just trying again, are my new trail runners, the New Balance Aero V8s. So only had them on for about an hour's hike in either direction. They were absolutely fine. I've modified the insole to allow for my plantar fibroma that I've got on my right foot. Took a bit out of that, and yeah, just going to see how they go. I need to try something apart from the hockers. There is just something about the hockers nowadays that it's not agreeing with my feet. I don't know if it's since I had my plantar fibroma. I think I got a bit of plantar fasciitis at that time that's slowly putting itself right. But I must admit, every time I wear my other Mafatis, the ones that are a bit worn out now, I always get a little bit of heel pain afterwards. And then I put a flat shoe on and it goes away. So it must be something to do with the configuration of that shoe. So I'm really hopeful these New Balance Aero V8s will be a successful shoe for longer trails in the summer. I was really getting back into wearing boots again when I did the Sky Trail. In fact, after the first 3 days of having my Handwag Banks GTX on and going back into the hocker just for the night, my feet went, ugh, what's this? I was actually glad to get the boots back on the next day. So there's something not agreeing with me in those hockers. So hopefully this pair of New Balance Yeros might be the way forward. Just coming up now to the little bridge that crosses the aqueduct. Been a very pleasant walk actually. If it was any hotter, I think I would have got in the aqueduct and just had a sit in it and cooled off, but I'm absolutely fine. It's cooled down a little bit, there's a nice breeze, all's good. Here we are, a few goats sitting next to the aqueduct and the bridge. There was a few back there as well. Probably see them move in a second when I get a little bit closer. Look at that. I could just get in there. I could really fancy tomorrow morning blowing my sleeping mat up and just going back down there, but I think it might could damage the mat if it gets caught on the side, and it's not really worth taking the risk. I've got another bit of kit I'm really excited to try out tonight. After a lot of mental toing and throwing, I decided to take the plunge and get some quilts. I say quilts. Obviously you need one for the summer and one for the winter, but you non-normal hikey people might not appreciate that. However, I decided it just was not financially viable to buy 2 Katabatic quilts, which is my winter quilt, Katabatic 30, which as it happens, I got a little bit late in the season and haven't even tried it yet. So for the summer, I bought myself a Pajak Quest quilt. I was going to get the Pajak blanket, and then I decided, let's get the quilt. Use it in the house in the winter maybe, you know, when you're lying in front of the television, you've got the fire on, it's a bit nippy. So I'll probably use it for that, but it is a quilt which has 700 down in it. Now, obviously 700 down is not as insulating as 900. It doesn't pack down as much. There's not much in the weight, to be honest. It's like 450 grams approximately, opposed to about 625 on the Katabatic, sorry. So not a lot of weight difference, but it packs down to virtually nothing. And the reviews I've read about it all say it's not really that warm. I'll mention the manufacturer's temperature ratings later on when I get it out the little pack here. So I'm just hoping that will fill the spot, the sweet spot in between the winter and summer quilt. So we'll have a look at that a little bit later. I'm just on my path up through the forest now, following the GR221 until we reach the variant point for Tossalsverds. It's a quiet afternoon, and so far I've seen nobody, so that's good. We've just arrived at the Tossals variant, which is according to this 1 hour 5 minutes. You sometimes find that that distance there is recorded not from him, it's an Olympian Somalian runner, so I'm not sure I'm going to do it in that time, but I'll get up there whenever I get up there. I've got no pressure over time. In the meantime, I shall sit here on this marker rock that I always stop at and have a bit of refreshment. I'm glad I got the 1.5 litre. I do have a litre of water stashed at the top under a rock, but I think it's been there for about a year, so I'm not sure I would trust it without boiling it at this stage, and I haven't brought my cooker, so that's it. probably notice in my videos, especially the Sky Trail, I've started reflecting on what I call these moments in life. And you know, for me it's not about being on the old hamster wheel and being, you know, the winner of how many digits you've got in the bank, because firstly you can't take them with you, and secondly, well, is it going to make you any more happier? I've just come out to the countryside this afternoon, freed myself of my normal stress for a few hours, normal work I should say, not maybe stress. I do enjoy my work, but at the same time we've got to have a little release and get outside and do something to enjoy life. One of my moments was a few years ago, many years ago in fact, when I used to do scuba diving, and this is one of the moments that will go with me wherever I go after this place on earth. I was out in the sea, got out of the dive boat, and it was about 45 meters of water deep, and right at the bottom was all rocky. There was a circle of sand that was about 4 meters in diameter, white sand at the bottom of this blue abyss. And I'll never forget, I just dumped the air out of my jacket and I just descended like a skydiver onto this patch of sand and touched down. And that was one of those moments where my mind was just completely free of everything that was going on in there at that particular time, and that was just me, the sea, nature, and that experience of descending this 45 meters onto this patch of sand, which was just phenomenal. Anyway, I'll stop rabbiting, and I'm gonna have a little rest, and then let's see if we can get up this hill and see how long it takes us. It's a push up through this forest, I'll tell you. There's been a lot of woodland destruction through recent storms in this particular forest where the trail is. I actually got to a point before where the trail disappeared, and I ended up following another trail that I think somebody had just formed as a new route, but there's actually a big rock here in the middle, and you don't want to go around the left hand side, you need to go around the right hand side. So actually, praise the wiki lock god, I had a map downloaded from a couple of years ago. I put that on and found the trail again, and luckily it was only like 5 meters to my left. So I've just stopped to get my breath. It's in this heat. This is really hard work. It's I take 10 degrees in Scotland over this any day, rather than hiking in these temperatures and humidity and having to carry all this water load. But it's what it is for what you get when you get to the top and see the view. And I know it'll cool off tonight. It will probably drop down to, you know, upper teens tonight, I would say, in the middle of the night. So yeah, I'm looking forward to it, even though it's a bit of a slog. It's going to keep going. I'm out of the woods now, onto the sort of traverse section at the top. I have to go through a sort of woodland path which runs alongside the mountain, and once I get to the end, it's just a case of hanging a left, and that final little push up over the granite to the top. It's very barren, the top section, not a lot of greenery up there at all, to be honest. The New Balance Aero V8s are performing very well up to now. In comparison to the Hokas, I've not experienced any little bits getting flicked up into that heel area. None whatsoever. The Hokas, whoop. Hokas are quite prone for that if you haven't got trail gaiters on. I think I might have just gone off trail here a little bit. Hang on a second. Yeah, I think that's it. Yeah, so the Aeros Haven't had any bits in, so that's certainly a good sign. Very grippy on the rock and on the loose forest material. And they don't have the Hoka Vibram Mega Grip soles, but they do have a Vibram sole of a different lug variation. So yeah, they're performing very well. Whew. Glad I got that litre and a half of water, I'll tell you. This is the view we've got looking probably southwest at this hour of the day. Puig Mayor over there, highest mountain on the island, and looking back over there. Halfway up the final push now, looking down over Mallorca. Look at that, just amazing. Just going to pan round there back onto the Puig. So I'm still a little way off the top yet. There's the final marker up there, probably about, I don't know, 100 metres or so, but it's steep. It's always this final push that gets me. The old New Balance are faring still well. You have, however, got to take care on this really hard granite rock. Be easy to just lapse concentration for a moment and go over on your heel or ankle and twist something, or go off trail like I just have. It is so easy to lose the trail up here, despite the numerous small cairn rock piles on the way up. Aye. This is one thing about just solo hiking. You're just not pushing anything. Your body tells you when you've had enough, when you want to stop, when you want to start, and I think it's the only way forward for me now, to be honest. Just go solo. Peace and quiet. We have arrived, we have arrived. There's a little rock ring. Looks a bit muddy in there. There is an area over there you can actually get a one-man tent. I've been over there before. So we'll see what happens. There's also a rock ledge over the far side. I might investigate that. Lots of view there, just looking over onto Alcudia Bay. In front of us here, that peak is the Masinella, highest mountain you can walk on Mallorca, and the valley where it dips down at the top there, that is where the GR221 route goes over to Palenza. Here's a view looking down onto the lowlands of Mallorca. We've got Alcudia over here, Campic Fort, Colonias and Perry, down here Inca, I think that's Muros or Pobla over there. That must be Ubio Cineo. The mountains over there that you fly in over the airports, and down there looking down onto Palma Bay. Seriously, what about this for a spot? It's right on the edge of the rocks. It's got to do a little bit of gardening here. A little bit of a hole there, I'm not worried about that. I can put my pad across that way. Right, the view, spectacular view down there. I think it's a winner. There's no wind tonight. On second thoughts, if I roll over and we sleep down there, it could be game over. I think it might have to be the trusty rock ring, to be honest. It's not such a mess in there. Kick a few stones out of the way, at least it's got a bit of shelter. Well, I've eventually found somewhere half decent to sit in these rocks. It's actually a bit like a lounger. Oh yes. Just popping my can of Estrella. oh, that's welcomed, even though it's not cold. It is still welcomed. Oh, if it had been cold, I might have just gone to heaven. So there we have it. We've got the Hilleberg Niak mesh inner here, and I'm just using the carbon pulls from my top tent double rainbow. I have 2 of them, and that's all it needs. Doesn't need any poles. That's it. Sorry, doesn't need any pegs, not poles. It needs poles but not pegs. So yeah, you can peg it down if it's windy, but up here tonight don't need anything. And in this little tiny little bag here, it goes, actually would go smaller with a compression sack with straps on it. Look, we have the Pajak Quest quilt. It also acts as like something to throw around if you get a bit bored. So anyway, as I was saying before, this I don't think I could believe the ratings on this stuff sack, to be honest. This says it's got an extreme rating of -8. Extreme as in what? Like you're not going to die, right? You're probably like on the brink of death, but you're not going to die. That's probably what that one is. A limit of 5. I'm not sure how you can go from a limit of 5 to an extreme of -8. That just doesn't sound right to me. And a comfort of 9. Now, 9 is still quite chilly if you ask me. The reviews I've read say it won't do that, so we're gonna find out tonight what it'll do. I'm expecting it might drop under 20 tonight, so we will see. It's made in Poland of Polish white duck down. It's not hydrophobic, so it hasn't got that waterproofness to it, the duck down, and it is a 700 FP rated down. That's probably why we've got such a, it's not exactly the lightest thing in the world, it's like 450 grams or something. It's about a 20D nylon. That's probably why it doesn't squash down any further than this, because it's a 700 down opposed to such as an 850 or a 900, which is more compressible. So I'm going to get the mat blown up, and I'll get this out in a second, and I'll show you in the tent what it is before I use it. Let's go. So that's it there. That is the Pajak quilt. Oh, it's very light. And thought to show you that like this. It's got a zippered foot box. It's got a drawstring at the bottom, so you can open the foot box fully. One bit it has got that the aqueduct hasn't got is it's got a nice little press stud across that zip. I do like that. Look, little press stud there just to stop that zip coming open. Really nice. And then if you want to, of course, look, you can just open this zip here and have it as a complete flat blanket or quilt or whatever you want to use it at. It's actually designed to go under a hammock. That's what these straps are for here. So inside this little Pajak pocket here, there is the little really lightweight bungees and clips to clip it under a hammock. Now, the only thing I found it didn't have that I thought was a little bit strange was the aqueduct. It's got a clip on the top, so you can actually clip it around your neck, and this didn't have anything, which was a little bit strange. Like, how you meant to fasten it around your neck? And I contacted them and they didn't really have an answer. So what I did was, I had this little toggle. I've just put it on there with a key ring. So look, if I want to fasten it around my neck now, just for a little bit of draft exclusion, I can now just put this toggle through there, like so. That little key ring is not going to bother me. There we go, it just goes through there quite easily. And then I can put that over my neck, like so. And there's a couple of bungees here, which look, you can just pull them in, one either side, and nip that up round your neck, like that. Put it round you that way. Actually, it's inside out there, but it doesn't matter. It's the same principle. So that's what I've done with the neck part. So it's, in comparison with a catabatic, this has actually got 2 drawstrings around the neck. Yes, it would actually go that way in reality, like so. But it's the same difference either way around. There we go. So we'll see how we get on with it tonight. Keep an eye on the temps and just see like what sort of temperature range we think this thing will actually get down to. I have brought my liner. I might try it with a liner, I don't know. I'll see how it goes. Might just try it without for the first night and see what happens. So there we go, the Pajak. I'm going to zip the bottom up now, so when I get in I can stick my feet in it. There we go. But actually, in comparison with the catabatic, which was very expensive, this is actually slightly bigger than the catabatic. So there we go, we'll see how we get on with it. Well, I've just been up here on the summit marker for about half an hour here, just chilling and looking around. It's amazing when you look over this island, all of the geology of the mountains, the lowland areas, and it's probably been here for thousands of years like this. There's just so many features you can see looking down from this height. It's just gone 9:15 now. The sun will be going down over the Pajak probably in the next sort of 15 minutes or something. So I'll flick around onto that just as it disappears. I've got the Hilleberg mesh Niak inner down there in the rock ring. And it's a great little thing to bring that. Actually, I've never used it in the Niak, because the Niak is really a tent I would use in the winter predominantly. Not saying I'd never use it in the summer, I never will put the Niak mesh inner in it, but up to now I just use it as a mesh freestanding inner, and it's great for that. There's not going to be any rain tonight, and do you know, I'll be able to lie there and look up and see the stars. I'll just pan round here over, got Aqueduct Bay over there in the distance. There we go. Very nice. There she goes. Well, I'm in the tent now, well, not the tent, the mosquito net. And look, it's just gone 9:20. It's amazing how quick the temperature drops. Like, it's 20 degrees now.
Morning. Well, it's about 6:25. Temp is 19 degrees. And it hasn't been a bad night's sleep, actually. The quilt's been good. Had my feet in the bottom in the foot box. I'm in my liner. I like my liner because it's soft. I'm not keen on being next to this nylon, to be honest. I haven't had the pad straps on or anything like that. Just had it over me and it's been absolutely fine. First impressions, it's definitely less like restrictive than being in a sleeping bag. You're not constrained to having, you know, the zip undone on one side and the fabric on the other side. You can move around a lot easier in the quilt. As for the comfort rating of 9 degrees, I've been like all night, even in the liner with a quilt on, just like neutral temperature, not hot, not cold, just in the middle. So that's 19. I'm kind of thinking I can't see this working below maybe 13, 14, 15 at the absolute limit, I would say. But as for -8, that's just a joke. You'd be shivering at -8 in this thing. Yeah, we have just got the sun now, just coming up over the top of the mountain. It's a view there looking down across Mallorca. We've got the sun coming up there now. View looking down on Talcadia Bay and across the island. What a lovely peaceful night. Well, it's been a lovely night, really enjoyable experience just to come out here and just clear my mind and just sit and look at all the views. Couldn't have done anything better on that Friday night. So I'm about to head back down now, and we'll maybe stop for somewhere for breakfast on the way home. I must admit, the Euro V8 soles, they're just stuck like glue to these rocks. Look at that. Never slip once. And this rock can be quite slippy sometimes. Back down to ground zero, along the trek by the side of the aqueduct again, heading back to the car. Thanks for watching the video. I hope you've enjoyed it, and if you're new to the channel, don't forget to click and subscribe. That would be appreciated. It always helps the channel along. Not that it's monetized or anything like that. This is just simply a little bit of a hobby for me, but subscriptions are greatly appreciated. Stay safe, guys, and we'll catch you on the next one.